Ruth Foreman has said, if you write poetry, go to the ground. It should make the ancestors put down their pipes and let you tell the story.
Wow.
So I like to consider myself a poet because I go to the ground. Because sometimes I sit down with a pen in my hand and I write. Poetry is what fills in the cracks and the fissures of my psychic plates that are either mashing against each other or drifting apart. Poetry is the seam that holds me together. Now I do this stuff part-time because I've only got part of my senses. The rest I spend partially putting back together the parts of our sons and daughters that are pushed to the back of the bus, kept under lock and key. Kids who have parts of their self-esteem intact, and the rest just a trail of breadcrumbs lost in the farce of adolescence. See, I like to consider myself a poet. But as for delivery, the stage is not my form. I tend to lay it down on the front lines, where I can freestyle freedom to miniature adults with souls the size of angel wingspans who imagine their brightness shines with the intensity of a hallway nightlight. But beacons that small are easily underestimated, like living lighthouses. They can guide a 5-year-old through the maze of monsters in the dark to safe harbor beneath the covers. I speak to fairies who have forgotten the pouches of pixie dust in their possession, to trolls who don't know they were meant for much more than terrorizing trespassers or hanging out under bridges. I've never been down to reach their level. I find it better to lift them up to mine with the hope that they'll like the higher altitude and eventually give gravity the finger. Because faith in falling never saved anyone's innocence, and Father Time's contracts carry no loopholes for the young. I have become more of a station agent than a preacher. I do a lot more listening than teaching. I am more receptor than reactor, more student than storyteller. I have become the Pied Piper in reverse, and my ears still burn from the stories that have licked them. Ugly ducklings caught in a perpetual hunting season. Boogeymen masquerading as stepfathers. Mothers bewitched by pill bottles. White knuckle, breath held in the throat, keep you up late at night stories that'll never make it to the front page because I was the only one who sat still long enough for the ricocheting eyes of the teller to focus on me. Read mine as true guidelights and not oncoming headlights 2 seconds before the impact. I encourage these children to craft limbering language out of lofty aspirations, to sing without shame to their I think I can mentalities, and to pledge undying allegiance to every imaginary friend who has ever had their back. I tell you, when they spit that true, they challenge the glands in their mouths to produce salvation in the form of saliva, enzymes that will break down anything that falls short of it. And as for me, I just keep listening. Because their poetic voices are just like bellows for the fire. My fire.
Amen.